Today I'm going to show you guys what's in my camera bag. I know it's cliche, but I just want to do it anyway. And it's not really my camera bag, it's multiple camera bags. So I'm going to go through them all. And before I'm done, I'll run a close-up of everything you can see that I've got. So first and foremost is my beloved Canon R6. I've got the neatest little strap for this thing. It fits on because I don't like the ones that go around your neck. Puts too much pressure on your neck. So I snap this grip on, and now I've got it easy to carry around. I don't have all that stress on my neck from the camera strap, and I've got the 16mm on the Canon R6. Great lens, great camera. It's more of a fun lens. It's if you want some weird looking shots, some weird angles, long arms, 16mm is where you go. From there, we have my beloved, I love this lens. It has the best color. It's the Sigma 24 to 105 f4 lens. And I've shot so many weddings with this lens. It's just a beautiful lens. I just love it. The only downfall is it's not a 2.8, but it is fantastic. It has image stabilization. I have shot so many weddings with this, and it just looks amazing. Next, the all-important Canon 85 1.8 beautiful lens. It's the EF lens, not the RF. The 16mm was the RF lens, but this fits, the EF lenses fit onto the mirrorless cameras with an adapter. It's about $100 and they work great. From there, having to pull these out, it's like Christmas to see what we've got in here. This is my Canon RF50 1.8. It's a fantastic lens with the low 1.8. It gets some great shots. It's just a great lens. I like it a lot. And then probably the most important for my weddings is my Canon 24 to 70 2.8. Every photographer knows this is the wedding lens that you need to get those great shots. So my Canon 24 to 70, it's an amazing lens. I highly recommend you get one. Fantastic. It's a little heavy carrying around, but it's still a great lens. Now I've got my ND filter for my Sigma. I've got the Black Mist Pro for the 50mm. And I've got plenty of SD cards in many different boxes laying around in different bags. Now this is kind of different. This is a camera loop, so if you're outside and you can't see your image, which is easier nowadays with the mirrorless cameras, but you can take this, put it right up against your screen, and it blocks all the sun, and you can see your images perfectly with this. It was like $8, so it's an amazing little gadget. I love it. Of course, you don't go anywhere without all your Canon batteries. You got to have a ton of those, especially with the new mirrorless cameras, because they use so much battery life. This is my adapter that makes my EF lenses fit onto my RF camera. I think I paid $100 for it. It works great. I'm amazed at how good the RF lenses work. Now this, I need to do a whole show on these one day. These are two Godox controllers for flashes. This one I can set on top of the camera with the hot shoe and put another flash on top of it. So if I want to shoot, you know, with the camera, if I want a lens on top of my camera and another lens somewhere else, I can control the camera from somewhere else and still have one on top of my camera. So that's a neat little gizmo. The other one, this one sits up there by itself. You can't attach a flash to the top of it, but it's great. And I'm going to do a video pretty soon on the TCM button. That's a very interesting subject. If you're not familiar with Godox, I really, really like Godox. They have great prices and they have really good equipment. But it's a fantastic adapter, and I will make a video on what TCM does. It's really, really cool. And for that bag, we have another Canon charger with no battery in it, so bag one is down. And most everybody starts off their videos with how fantastic their camera bags are. I hate all these camera bags. People are running their camera bags through car washes and they come out great. I get 3 drops of rain on this bag, it's going to disintegrate. So I'm not bragging on these camera bags. I'm trying to find one that's like a pull cart, like, you know, you carry on to the airplane. I want to get one of those to carry around. So more rechargeable AA's. I always charge them up before I go to a shoot. And here we have the Canon 6D full frame, and I have the Tamron 70 to 210. It's a great lens. I don't use it all the time, but when I do use it, it does a fantastic job for me. And having 2 full frame cameras to shoot the weddings really makes it nice. My wife uses the 6D and I use the R6, and the quality is just unbeatable. The high ISO you can get out of the new Canon R6 is just out of this world. This is a little gizmo. It's a little battery charger, lights up and tells you how much it's got left. It's got USBs on it, so you can, if you're somewhere you can't find a power outlet or something, you can just plug it into this. It works great. Then I have more batteries for my Canon 6D and R6, and actually they also fit into my 70D and my 60D. So got to have enough batteries, can't have too many. Then I've got my Canon 580 EX2. I've had this thing for 12 years probably, never given me a problem. I have kind of switched to Godox, but I do fall back on this one occasionally. You go, can't have too many rechargeable AA batteries. And here we have the Canon 70D. Now this is a good camera for backup. It's a crop sensor, but it does a great job. It's, other than the crop sensor and what you're limited to in a crop sensor with low ISO, it's a fantastic camera and it makes for a great backup. You can use all your EF lenses and your EF lenses on this camera. So you can't put the RF on it, but other than that, it's a good job. Then I've got my light meter that somehow got broke in my bag the other day, so I've got to fix it. It's the Sekonic light meter. We use that to take readings if we're trying to figure out what's going on. It's Sekonic. And then of course another bag with SD cards in it. Can't have too many cards, can't have too many batteries. But again, these camera bags, I can't stand them. I'm gonna have to get something better. And then we're getting over here into some of my favorite stuff. This is the Godox V1. This will work, when I showed you these triggers to put on top of your camera to control your Godox flashes, this Godox will fit on top of your camera, and it has in it where you can control the other flashes without needing a trigger. So it's very handy to have. It has the round head. Everything that fits on it is magnetic. It does a great job. The TTL is pretty good on it. I use manual most of the time, but if you have to flip to TTL, you're good to go. I got 2 batteries for it, but the batteries last a long time. I'm just big on having redundancy of batteries and backups. So that is a great flash. I highly recommend the Godox V1. But it also comes with a pack of a lot of accessories. You got a snoot you can put on it. Snoot put right on your top of your Godox. You got a lot of other filters, and they're all magnetic, so everything just sticks to the top. It even comes with some barn doors so you can direct the light. It's really handy. I love it. I take it everywhere I go. And then you've got your bounce flash and your diffuser. That's pretty nice. This is my backup Godox battery, just in case I happen to run out of a battery with the Godox V1. I've got another one. If you're doing weddings, you need a backup for your backups. From there, I carry this occasionally, and this will hold an off-camera flash that holds my flash point, which is the same as Godox. It's just Adorama puts their brand on it. And it goes right in here, so if I'm shooting off camera, I can just tighten this down and control the flash from either the trigger, one of these triggers, or trigger it from my Godox. Put this off camera, put it on a light stand, it works great. I usually, if I'm doing that, I put this end on it, I take this head off. It works fantastic. It has barn doors, it has different bulbs, it has all kinds of stuff in it. More filters up here. It's almost a never-ending Godox bag. It's fantastic. And then, of course, you can't go anywhere without your MacBook. You got to have your MacBook at a wedding. I will shoot, like if I'm shooting the guys before the wedding and I finish shooting their pictures, I'll go and immediately download their images into my computer, even though I have 2 cards in my Canon R6. Again, redundancy and backup. You can't have too much of it at a wedding because you just can't redo a wedding. So take your laptop, back it up. I've even got an external hard drive. I don't have it right here, but the SanDisk hard drive that I use for backing up stuff, I like to leave the wedding with my pictures in at least 3 or 4 different places because you just never know what's going to happen. A card may mess up. There's just so many things that can go wrong, and you don't want any problems at a wedding. You just can't do that. So let me get my other camera bag. All right, in my other camera bag, we have the Canon 60D. It's a great camera. It's got an EFS lens on it. This was actually, I believe, a kit lens, but it was 17 to 85. And my wife used it a lot, and it has worked great, and it has lasted a long time. But the Canon 60D, it's one step below the 70D. It does a fine job for pictures. In fact, back in the early 2000s, we shot a lot of weddings with this being our main camera. So it's a great camera. And then we have the Canon 50D. So we have the 70D, the 60D, and the 50D. And on here I've got a 28 to 105 EFS lens, and it does a really good job too. So having these crop sensors, and these cameras, the 50D, I've even got a 30D. I don't have it with me on here, but I've got a 30D. They all still work great. Canon makes some really reliable stuff. But with the Canon 30D, I think it's 10 megapixels. And the high ISO on it starts getting grainy and noisy pretty fast. So you're really limited on the 30D. The 50D is a little better, and the 60D, 70D, they improve a little bit as you go. But you don't get your real big improvements until you get into the full frame, like the Canon R6 and the Canon 6D. And I have battery grips for most all of my cameras, because you need 2 batteries in your camera, otherwise you're going to be changing batteries all the time. And I usually have a few in my pocket on top of these 2, but back in the day when we were shooting with the Canon 50D as our main camera, I could shoot an entire wedding on 2 batteries and still have power left when we got done. But the Canon R6, having that LCD screen and so much going on, the batteries drain a lot faster. Even though they made some newer, more powerful batteries, they still drain fairly fast, so I keep a lot of those batteries on hand. Then we've got another Canon flash. It's the Canon 430EX. My wife used to use it on top of the Canon 50D a lot when she was shooting the girls getting ready. It's not the strongest flash in the world, but it does a really good job. Can't complain about it. And then, step back into time a little bit here, I have a bag full of SD cards. Now this is what the Canon 50D and the 30D take. They don't take the new SD cards. So you have to use those. Then, yet again, another battery charger. And yet again, another USB charger. So you just can't have too many chargers. Yeah, never guess what that is. It's another Canon battery. This is a battery for the 50D and the 30D. Your 60D, 70D, R6, and your 6D all take the same kind of batteries. Even though the 60D and the 70D have a smaller capacity, yeah, they still fit in the R6 and the 6D. So you're doing good on that. And then I've got this. I've got a Youngo, I'm not even sure how you pronounce her name. I got this thing on the deal. It's a 50 millimeter. I rarely use this. It's there for an emergency. Thought I had another Youngo lens. I have a 35 one somewhere, but it's not in any of this. So this is what, if you hire us to shoot your wedding, we're going to show up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras, plus the one we're videoing on, which is a Lumix G100. Now it's a crop sensor, so I wouldn't show up and shoot an entire wedding with that, but I do take it with me in case I need some videos, or if I just need kind of a different look. The sensor in it being the micro 4/3 gives it a little bit different look, and it's kind of neat for a few things. I'll pull it out during the reception just to get a kind of a different look to some pictures. Like I said, I don't have the 30D in front of me, but it's around here somewhere. But this is what we take to weddings. I shoot models and weddings, about 80% of our business, and this is what we take. We come fully prepared. We've got backups for the backups, and we've got multi-batteries, multi-flashes. We have stands for the flashes, and we have about everything you need. After 37 years, I've collected a lot of photography stuff, plus I still have a lot of 35 millimeter stuff from the 80s. I still got a Canon AE1 program. So you just can't have too many batteries. And I don't take the Canon 35 millimeter to the weddings. I don't even carry film with me anymore, but it's there. It's kind of neat. It's kind of nostalgic to have. But this will get you covered for a wedding. You really want to do off-camera flash, and the Godox is just fantastic how they do that. I love being able to control my other Godox flashes from the control panel that sits on top of my camera. This fits right onto the hot shoe. Like I said, you don't have to have a transmitter. So, but if I'm shooting with my Canon 580 EX2, sometimes I will put it on top of this trigger and then fire the Godox V1 in one spot and the AD200, sorry, in another spot. So just get multiple flashes set up around the reception. So wherever I go, I can just switch to that flash to go off. So anyway, this is what we use. What I need are some nicer camera bags. I really want one of those like the airlines, you know, your carry-on, because these bags are heavy to carry and I'd really like to be able to pull them. So that will be my next investment. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to line all this up and give you a close-up view of everything that we've got before the video ends. So y'all check it out, see what you think, let me know what you've got, and if you have any questions about the equipment I've got, if you have any questions about Godox flashes or any Canon questions or whatever, because I've been shooting Canon for 37 years. Them and Nikon, you know, were the big battle in the 1980s. Canon and Nikon, that's what almost everybody used. And we had a repair shop in our 1-hour photo lab, and we saw about 2 to 1 Nikon repairs over Canon. So I kind of got in my head back then that Canons are a little bit more reliable than Nikon. Now I know I'm going to get hate for that, but Nikon's a great camera. I'm not knocking it, but I went with Canon, and I'm very happy that I went with Canon. I used Canon flashes forever and ever, and then when Godox came along, so I was looking at the new EL1 that Canon has for the flash, but it's just it's probably the same power as this Godox V1, and it's $1,200 flash. This was $225, $250, I believe, so I can buy a lot of Godox V1s for the price of an EL1. They make a smaller one now, I think it's a Canon EL5, but it's still $500 or $600, and it's more along the lines of the Canon 430EX, so it's not really something I would want to get into. And amazingly, TTL works really, really well if you're shooting TTL with the Godox. I shoot TTL occasionally. Most of the time I'm shooting manual with off-camera flashes, but the Godox has never let me down. The biggest thing I need is camera bags. So if y'all want to donate some camera bags, you know, find my email, send them to me. I'll gladly take them off your hands, because I have probably the worst camera bags in the entire world. But they do carry the equipment for now until I get it upgraded. It will do. So you guys let me know if you have any questions about any of the equipment I have. I'll be glad to share what I know with you. And let's go from there. And then I'm going to run a video so you guys can see a close-up of all the equipment we've got. And if y'all like what we're doing, please hit subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it. And let me know if you have any questions. Contact me from the bottom. Have a good day.